Hello, all you wonderful and fabulous people. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video, the long-awaited house renovation for this Ultimate Decades Challenge. So we're finally doing it. You guys, I know some of you have been asking about it now for a little while, and here we are. We're finally getting around to it. Mainly, I was waiting to have more time. I have been busy the last couple of months. But then once I got the time, it was going to be the horse pack. The horse ranch expansion pack was coming out. So I wanted to wait for that because I knew I wanted to use it. So here we are. And yeah, I'm really excited. And you're going to see that in this video because when I get excited, I kind of get a little bit jumpy and I'm all over the place. So you're going to see me going from one part, the next part, like one section, we're going to work on the outside, then the inside, and back and forth. I try to cut it out and make it a little bit more well blended and not so jumpy, but you know, you can only do so much in editing. But anyways, so here we are just starting out our house. Now, I kind of wanted to build like a more castle or a manor type house. We are technically still peasants. We are getting out of being a peasant and we're more of the higher class of peasantry, if that is a thing, which I do think it is, but we're not the lowest of the low. So we are getting out of it. So we have been actually in this house for almost 50 years. So that's quite a while when you think about it. We, started this challenge in the 1300s and it is now almost 1350. It is 1346. So I kind of wanted to stick with the more peasant style house. So when the horse pack ranch was announced, I just felt like I really wanted to make a like peasantry kind of farm with a ranch with horses and stuff. Of course, it ends up being probably far nicer than any peasant would ever live in. It comes out looking really nice. Somehow I ended up making it more like cottage type vibes. I don't know, but in the end, I really like it. We try to be as realistic as we can in this challenge, but when it comes down to it, we are still playing The Sims 4, and you can only get so realistic. And you kind of just add in some fantasy as well, of course. And if you were to try and get 100% realism, I feel like that might take a little bit of the fun out of the game and the challenge. So I don't know. I mix a lot of what I think my life might have been like in medieval times. And I also do a fair amount of research as well and try to get as realistic as we can. And I do try to follow all of the rules of this challenge, which there is a lot of them. I know some of you guys have been playing this along with me, and I just think that's totally awesome and cool. And you'll know that there are a lot of rules with this challenge. So this build ended up taking me far longer than I thought. I did bulldoze, as you saw in the very beginning. I did put almost everything into my family inventory because I felt like I would probably use it and save some money that way, and then bulldoze the lot. It took me, and I'm not kidding, exaggerated, I literally counted up these hours. I started at 7 a.m. You heard it right. 7 a.m. on Monday, this past Monday. The time you're seeing this video or the time it is uploaded is Wednesday. So 7 a.m. on Monday, and I pretty much finished it like 9 o'clock p.m. So I did take some breaks. I got some dinner and lunch and all that. I did take a few breaks, but when I added up the hours, I had more than 12 hours into this game. So, it took me a bit, but I had a lot of fun doing it the whole time. I only got a little stuck on like inside the house here. I wanted to keep adding on all these rooms, and I kept telling myself, Jen, it's a peasant's house. You wouldn't have all these rooms. You would basically have one room. Sometimes they would have like these little alcoves cut out where you just saw a bed was put into an alcove, but it would be in the room where they ate and, you know, cooked and all of that. It was one room. Sometimes they would have a loft upstairs, which is what gave me the idea for putting a loft up above the master bedroom. And because this is a Sims 4, they get embarrassed really easy. So anytime Sims are woohooing and children, which rightfully so when you think about it, walk in, they're going to get embarrassed. Oh no, you know. So I made the master bedroom, and then I put the girls are going to be up above the master bedroom. And then Marilda's bed is the one that's in there like that, tucked in that little alcove right there by the stairs. So I really, really like how this comes out, and I fill it with a ton of decor of hanging, you know, dried herbs. It just gives me this cozy cottage vibe feeling, and I am loving it a whole lot. Like I said earlier, we've been in this house for almost 50 years. It was time for a change. We will eventually make our way up into a manor house and then maybe a castle. We are in the medieval times for a while. Now, what is the likelihood of a peasant becoming a noble? Not very likely at all. But there was a big change in peasantry with the peasant revolt in 1381. And maybe at some point there is when we really do the switch of how we are living and everything. So we'll just have to see. But of course, before that, we do have the 100 Years War restarting here in the next episode of this. We are going to be hitting it. And after that, we have the Black Death coming. Isn't that just wonderful? We get a double whammy. We get to see who's going to the war, and then we get to see who's dying from the Black Death in 1348. You know, I am terrified. I know some of you commented that, yeah, while the war is terrible, just wait till you get to the Black Death. You know, you're telling me that your guys lost almost all of your households. I'm honestly expecting all of my Sims to die. This is the way I've got it in my head. And I don't know if I do this just so I can cope better, but I already have it set in my mind that the challenge is going to be done. I'm sorry to tell you, the challenge is going to be ending, and we are no longer going to be able to do this because I feel like every Sim is going to die. What if all of our family Sims died? All of our side households? I do have like Simon and their family. I don't know that I'm rolling for. I don't know if I should be. They're not really our side families. And in the rules, I believe it says just side families. I don't know. I may roll to see who dies for every single Sim that has had contact with our family Sims. So I don't know. You guys have to let me know. I mean, I could, if all of these Sims that, you know, die, I could just pick a random townie and start over with that, you know, going forward. We'll see. I don't know. I just have it in my head. They're all going to die. So there it is. That's my fear. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, we have a lot of Sims. I hope we stand a good chance of surviving all of this. But then after the Black Death is done, we still have the 100-Year War to get through. This is nothing but wars, y'all. Nothing but wars for a very long time. So this challenge has been fun, but it has also been very difficult to do all these death rolls and kill off my Sims. I've never done this before with any of my gameplays, you know, whether it be making videos for you all or just playing on my own. I've just never done that. So this is all new. It's exciting, but it is new and it's a little bit stressful. A little bit stressful because you come up with all these story ideas and then something happens to where you can't continue that story idea, you know, so it is what it is. But don't get me wrong, I am still very, very much invested in this challenge and very much enjoying it. And after this house renovation, I am renewed. You know, not like I was getting bored. I wasn't getting bored with this challenge, but you know how a new house brings new life to a challenge. I feel like that in any challenge you do, if you stay in the same house too long, you're gonna get tired of it, especially if you've built it up as much as you can and you've pretty much decorated everything. You get tired of it. I get it. Sometimes people get tired of their houses a little quicker than others. For me, I actually am quite surprised that I did not get tired of this house sooner. Like, I actually was not tired of this house until a couple episodes ago. And then I started going, yeah, I'm ready for this house renovation. I'm ready. And so, yeah, here we are. And I'm really, really excited for this horse pack. How are you guys liking it? Have you gotten it yet? Have you played around with it? At the time of me recording this, it hasn't even been a week since it's been out. And yeah, I haven't watched any gameplay on it, and I've only played a little bit in it on another save file. I've only played around just a little bit, not a whole lot. So it's pretty much all gonna be pretty new to me, and I'm so excited about it. So I do end up, and I don't show this, I do end up adding in or creating a cult. I make a cult to put into our family. So after doing that, that literally leaves us with one slot for Annette and Edric's baby. So we will have a full house once that baby is born. But of course, Christina will be moving out very, very soon. So there's that. And I imagine Marilda is going to be passing on very, very soon. And then, of course, Rose. And then we'll be... And, well, before that, we have the Black Death, so they all might just die. It just be done. Things will be different after that Black Death, I'm sure. I think at the time of me building this house, it's like 1346, so like the third quarter. So we're getting towards that 1347, so we're just over a year away from that Black Death. So we better enjoy the time with this new renovations, this new house, while we can. I did also, now that I'm thinking about it, I hear I've been going on and on about all of the things happening and everything. I was going to talk a little bit about this build 12 minutes in, and I'm now just talking about it. So I did have some issues with my animals. So you may have noticed I made this barn, right? Which this is the first barn I've ever made. Is it medieval? I don't know. It's probably not. It's probably a little bit more modern than what they actually had, but that's okay. We are down to just one cow. So when I took everything off the lot and put it in my family inventory, I got rid of 2 of the cow sheds. We had 3. And then, of course, all of the animals go into your family inventory. So the cow, the goat, and the llama that I had all went in there, right? So I was able to pull out the cow and place the cow in the barn with the 1 cow shed that I had. I wanted to get rid of the other 2 animals, so I had to repurchase an animal shed, and I was able to sell the llama, but yo, we still got this goat. This goat is still in our family inventory, and I can't get rid of it. I try so hard to get rid of it, and it says object cannot be placed. Object cannot be placed. I tried getting the games, shed and using that. I don't know if it's because, I'm thinking it's because it's custom content. Here I'm just putting down all of the terrain paint of dirt. I just felt like I had too much dirt showing here, so I was putting down some straw, which is custom content terrain paint I found on the Sims resource. And yeah, putting out here in the cow stables. And then over here, I decided to go ahead and put up a little archery kind of station. It's also going to be where we have our clothesline and nectar. It's kind of similar to the area that we had on the other side with everything. I just moved it over to this side and made it smaller. So yeah, that's all that I'm doing here. And then as far as fencing, I decided to go ahead and put up a hedge. I just really liked how it looked with the wood. Kind of break up the wood and the stone and make it more natural. And it fits in. Once I get all the greenery and shrubs and everything, it looks a lot better. And here I'm just placing down all the animals. I just could not place that goat to save my life. I tried so hard and it just wouldn't let me place it to sell it and to get rid of it. So it is what it is. We might have forever have a goat in our family inventory. Right here, I did make an outhouse. So did they have an outhouse? Probably not. They didn't even have a bathroom, like a bathtub. Like I made a small room with a bathtub. They would have just pulled out a huge tub and bathed in front of like a fireplace in the cold months. And then in the summer, they just bathe in it anywhere. So I just added that on because this is a Sims 4 and nobody likes their privacy invaded and can't deal with it, which is fine. But the outhouse, so I only put a chamber pot in Edric and Annette's room for them. And then I just didn't want chamber pots all over the place. So I made like a little outhouse. Outhouses were technically not into being until I think the 15 or 1600s. So I'm a bit early. I know, it's all right. You can come for me in the comments. It's all right. I already know about it. There probably wasn't outhouses. I also did put a pea bush, a potty bush, whatever you want to call it, right next to the outhouse. So they actually have two ways of going to the bathroom there. Now we're just working on the garden right here. So I had no idea how I wanted this garden to go. And I knew after building the barn and the horse stable, I had quite a bit of area. So I knew I wanted a bigger like farm area for crops. So that's why I made it this size. And then I knew also putting in trees and other items would fill it up quite a bit. So in the end, I really like how it turns out. The only thing that I'm not sure that I'm going to keep is I end up using a custom content, like mounds. It replaces the patches you'll see here in just a second. It replaces the square mounds that came with cottage living. Instead of being a square, it's like a long rectangle, and you can fit 4 plants in each one lengthwise. You'll see what I'm meaning when we go back out there. Now we're just back inside finishing out some more of the decorating inside. I tend to do this when I get stuck in an area. I'll go to another area and then go back to the area, back and forth, like I was saying. Right there, see that? Those, I don't know if I'm going to keep those, to be honest. I may end up getting rid of them. I do put down terrain paint, dirt, and try to blend it in, but I don't know. I'm real iffy on that, so we'll see. I just don't think they would have raised garden beds at this time. I really would love to use them, but I don't know. I haven't really looked into whether or not or when raised beds became a thing. Maybe they were. I don't know. You guys have let me know. You historians, y'all know lots more than I do. Let me know. When did raised garden beds come into existence? Because I would really like to use them. Here I'm just making the pond. I decided to put ducks in this pond. I don't know what gave me the idea, but I don't know why I didn't do it before. They look super, super cute. So I ended up putting the ducks in. And I used the grass, and those rocks are from the new pack. The grass, the dried grass that you see on the sides there is from the new pack. I really like those rocks, but they only come in that one color. And it's more deserty rocks versus these, gray or rock-like. So I ended up going with the ones that I always go with and just shrink them down. I will use those other rocks. I really do like them. I'll use them at some point. Maybe if we ever move to Oasis Springs or the new world that came with the new horse ranch expansion pack. Maybe there. There I just put up a bench. I thought this would be a really nice area to come and sit and watch the ducks and feed the ducks. But who am I fooling? We ain't got time. We now have a horse, a mini goat and sheep, and a cow and chickens to be taken care of, and a dog. We have so many animals to take care of. We ain't gonna have time to come sit by the duck pond and watch the ducks. It's just not gonna happen. And take care of our garden. Oh, the peasant life, the farm life is so busy and hard, let me tell you. That is actually custom content, is a beehive, so we can actually gather honey from that. And now we're back inside, and I'm just placing down some decor. Now, I don't show it here because I had the idea after the fact, after I was thought I was finished, I came back into this and started tweaking things. And I did add in the nectar wine, like nectar storage things. And the reason is I was reading that you kind of need those. You don't have to have them, I don't think, but they help the nectar age quicker. And I think it helps them be better. I'm not sure, but I know it ages the nectar quicker. And I really want to do the nectar thing because one of my favorite things in The Sims 3 to do was to make nectar and sell it and all that. And I love the horses and everything. That was my favorite part of The Sims 3. One of my favorite parts of The Sims 3. So when I saw that they had this nectar maker, I know it didn't look like what it looks like in our game now. They would just have like a big tub that they would crush the grapes in. You wouldn't have all these hoses and bottles and all that. But for now, we're going to be using that nectar thing because I just really want to try it out and everything. So maybe some of you were curious on how I'm going to be using horses, you know, at medieval times. Maybe some of you were like me and curious. Did they raise horses? Did they train them? What did they do? What were horses like in medieval times? These are the things I literally Googled. What were horses like in medieval times? Yes, they had horses. People loved their horses. People named their horses. People trained their horses. Now, it doesn't say. I read several websites and pieces about horses. They don't go into specifically how they train them, but horses were definitely bred and trained in medieval times. Most of the time, they're trained for war. Go figure. There's only 100 years of it. Well, more if you think about all the wars that came prior to the 14th century. There was a lot of war. So horses were needed for war. Horses were trained for sport like jousting. They did do some horse racing back at this time. It's just different than the modern horse racing we all know. Back at this time, horse racing was to show off the speed of a horse to a potential buyer. But yes, they did train them. So I did end up putting in like the barrels that help train agility. And I put in the little like fence or whatever to help with jumping. I figure we can do some training. I might not do the competitions per se, but we can train and see how our horses end up being. I may down the road breed horses, who knows? After the Black Death, maybe there's going to be a need for a horse breeder after that. Maybe everybody's going to die and they're going to want their horses. Horse racing became popular, I believe, in the 17 and 1800s or something. So at some point, people started, making a living on, breeding horses. So maybe we'll become that. Who knows? I love horses. I would not mind doing something with the horses. So I figure we could start a little bit now anyways and at least have 1 or 2 horses. I don't know that we're going to actually breed them. If we do, we'd sell them off. Because, if our family survives, we're going to need to repopulate this world because we're going to lose a lot of Sims if we make it. I'm telling you, I'm just fearful of this Black Death coming. And here I am just decorating the outside. So I've actually been doing this quite a bit in other games aside from The Sims 4. I've been like in Disney Dreamlight Valley. I was playing that quite a bit prior to theater starting. And I started to like mix fenced pieces with shrubbery and stuff. And I just really liked the way that it looked. Would they have it like this? Probably not. But it looks cool to me. And I really, really like it. And I was apparently I was going for that cottagecore aesthetic. And I had to have these broken up fence pieces. And I really like it. And I cut out a lot of the outside because it took me so long. I add a bunch of trees in. I do add in a couple of trees like right here. I really, really like this front entranceway with the trees and everything. And then I made a little sitting area because, again, I thought, wow, we could have a little sitting area. They could look out over their lands and say, ah, how beautiful our property is now. They ain't gonna have time to do such things. I'm just saying. But anyways, it looks nice and it gives it a very kind of cozy vibe to it. So we are reaching the end of the video. There's just a couple minutes left. I'm finishing out the inside of the barn here. We are going to be doing a little tour, so stick around if you're interested in seeing the final look of the house. Trust me, there's a lot I added to the outside, so you're gonna want to see it. So I'm gonna be saying, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, it would be amazing if you did. And also don't forget to click the little bell to get notified whenever I have a video go up. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.